Nowadays, high-tech is part of everyday life. In medicine, we can cure illnesses with the most modern technology that 100 years ago we could only dream about. But there is still something that cannot be replaced by even the latest equipment. Human care, compassion, and consideration. These were the thoughts of Henri Dunant when he saw the suffering on the battlefield of Solferino. This led him in 1863 to summon 30 delegates from 16 countries to lay the foundations of the Red Cross. One of the basic principles was a relief society should be created in every country, comprising sanitary services and volunteers, and it should be neutral and inviolable. The same status should be granted to all wounded. At the same time, a welfare society was set up in Switzerland for Swiss soldiers and their families. On the 17th of July 1866, this became the Swiss Red Cross. In 1903, the Swiss Council of Ministers set up the Red Cross Service, the forerunner of the Red Cross Service as we know it today. During the First World War, 692 Red Cross nurses provided valuable help. In the course of the war, 69 nurses lost their lives to the deadly so-called Spanish flu virus. By the time the Second World War was raging, as many as 11,000 women were already enrolled in the Red Cross service. They not only took care of their own troops, but also the troops of the opposing armies, and also cared for the war victims and refugees that sought sanctuary in Switzerland. Crises and conflicts have changed dramatically since that time. To take account of this fact, the Swiss government is constantly updating the ordinance on the Red Cross service to meet current needs. Observation, vision, leadership, teamwork, friendship, humanity, training, exchange of cultures, responsibility, courage, safety, humanity, patience, friendship.
What motivated me to join the Red Cross service was actually to take on responsibility for the population, just like some men do. I wanted to do something for the overall good of the population, and above all, also because I want to know how to react in the event of an emergency, and not just to be left helpless and not know what to do. The positive side of being in uniform for me is the feeling of belonging, being part of a whole and not being left out. The negative side could be when I'm on my own in uniform and I have to walk through the railway station in Bern. People sometimes make remarks and give you strange looks.
Achtung! Oberwachtmeister Rekrut Staub.
Moudon in Vaud Canton. For 3 weeks, this will be the new home of the new Red Cross Service recruits. This is where they complete the first part of their 6-week recruitment procedure. Their medical training is a prerequisite for attending the school.
My family reacted very positively when I joined the Red Cross service. Of course, they all wanted to know what it was like. Is it really like what the men say about the army? And professionally, except for once, there's never been any problem. In the meantime, I've taken a job with the cantonal authorities, and they also take a positive view of it. It was never any problem for me sharing a bedroom with other women. The nice thing about it is that you can share your ups and downs. When you're fed up, there are others there you can share your troubles with. You can share good news with others. There's a lot of communication between us, and it's very lively. The important thing is that as a person, you need to be very flexible, get involved and be adaptable.
Basic military training. This short, intensive training course is an unforgettable experience for many Red Cross service recruits.
Comradeship is a very important aspect of the Red Cross service and motivates people to join and even to keep on going. I've had some very good experiences of comradeship. In particular, one case where I know I've made a friend for life. And I think that this is fairly typical of comradeship in the Red Cross service. Often you develop friendships that last a very long time. The way we're accepted by our male colleagues, I've now noticed, has become better and better over all the years that I've been in the service. It wasn't at all as good as this 10 years ago.
The second half of the 6-week training program is held in Einsiedeln. This is where they learn about the new equipment and practice special procedures. They are also taught how they can pass on their own professional know-how.
Also, der Kreislauf kann man unterteilen in 2 Teile.
Akzeptanz im Zivilen.
The way civilians accept us is on the whole good. Of course, if there are several of us, and if we're with soldiers, then we form a sort of group, like a group of friends, and we always get a positive reaction. People in restaurants are also very nice to us.
Ich begrüße euch zu der Lektion Infusionen legen. Das Ziel ist bekannt. Und als erstes desinfizieren wir gerade die Hände. Nehmen das Desinfektionsmittel, einen rechten Gutsch.
The 2 levels of the Red Cross service are the recruitment school and NCO training school. And I had good experiences in both of them. You find yourself in an environment where you're at the same level as everyone else, regardless of your position. Regardless of your qualifications, you all start off at the same place. That means that you're not tied down by any professional formalities. You just follow the rules of the subordination, the ranks of authority, the colonels, staff officers, all the trainers and so on. That wasn't so very easy for me in the beginning. Working in a hospital team with absolute strangers is always very exciting. I got into the habit of always doing an introductory round in the beginning to get to know the people, what they do in civilian life, what sort of job they've been given to do here. This brings you much closer from the outset. For me, it's been a great experience.
Gute Erfahrungen.
Guten Morgen, mein Name ist Katharina Schmidt. Rekrut Mummendahler tut jetzt den Rekruten Käser und Brönnimann zeigen, wie man den Verbandwechsel macht.
Now the Red Cross service recruits provide training in nursing and paramedical sectors for soldiers working in sanitary and hospital units.
The advantage of being in a training function is simply that you can practice. You're always learning, and you can use what you learn in civilian life. I don't get so many chances in civilian life to practice because I don't have any students under me. It's always an advantage if you get to use the leadership skills you've learned. It really helps in civilian life.
Rekrut Rieser, könntet ihr bitte noch die Blutentnahme ins Labor bringen?
Ja.
Danke.
Blutprobe vom Herrn Berg.
Danke vielmals.
Laboratory analyses are also carried out in military hospitals by Red Cross service laboratory technicians.
mit einfacheren oder anderen Materialien.
Achieving the same results with less sophisticated or different equipment means I need to use my imagination and creativity so that I can get the best result with less.
Weniger genau gleich das Optimum herausholen.
Ich begrüße euch zum Zugführrapport. Wir machen einen Rückblick auf den heutigen Ausbildungstag und besprechen den morgigen Ausbildungstag.
Those prepared to take on additional responsibilities and who are not put off by the extra workload can apply for officer training and a higher rank.
Renata lenkt das, für die Leute zu transportieren.
In the event of a disaster with a large number of injured that cannot be handled by the civilian hospitals, the Red Cross service lends a helping hand with the necessary facilities and expertise.
Als Kommandant von einem mobilen Spitalbataillon.
As the commandant of a mobile hospital battalion, I have always counted on the valuable work of the qualified members of the Red Cross service. It's even difficult to imagine running a military hospital without the help of the Red Cross service. The Red Cross service, as part of the Army's sanitary service, is only deployed on a request from the civilian authorities when their own resources have run out or simply don't exist. Now it's becoming quite usual for the Red Cross service to take on important functions and tasks. It is included in the planning, preparation and implementation of sanitary service operations, such as for the G8 summit or for operations abroad like in Kosovo. In all Red Cross service operations, the priority is always the patient.
For me, the Red Cross service is the opposite of indifference. That means not waiting behind closed doors until everything is over, but getting out there and getting stuck in and helping out.
Meinen Einsatz zu bringen.